Yo, 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 what's going on? It's your boy Cool Ya P of the ShoPowSho. Before we get to this week's episode of the ShoPowSho, I want y'all to check out this amazing festival that I'll be collaborating with my folks over at the Mixed Asian Media Festival. Here we go right now. Check it out.
In 2017, we launched Hapa Mag, inspired by my blog, Miso Hapa.
For many of us, it has come to represent a space for us to express our mixed racial heritage with Asian or Pacific Islander ancestry.
To be Hapa is to be a part of a diverse and growing community with many perspectives.
In 2021, we made the decision to move to a broader future by renaming ourselves Mixed Asian Media, MAM for short.
In celebration of this re-identification, we present the first Mixed Asian Media Fest, MAM Fest, a glimpse of Mixed Asian and Pacific Islanders in their art forms, including art, film, theater, and dance.
In light of recent events, MAMFest will be an online event. However, we're hopeful that future years will allow us to meet in person and gather in physical space.
And have a creative project? Submit to MAMFest on filmfreeway.com.
Yo, what's going on? This is the NOC, the Nerds of Color, and we are back with another ShoPowSho. I am Kuya P, aka Patrick Michael Strange, the Babinka Boy, the Adobro, the leader of the Hala Hala homies in the Center Gang, and I'm back with the amazing Ates, the Lechon ladies, the Tocino Terminators, and the Dinagon Destroyers, Kataphorric and Viva Valentina. What's up, ladies?
Hello.
What's up?
Hey.
Glad to be back.
Yes, great to see y'all. Loving life. It's 2021. We're going to stay positive this year, despite the seriousness of 2020, which, for all intents and purposes, it was very serious, but we're going to keep it light. We're going to keep living. We're going to keep on moving and motivating and doing what we do. So let's do this.
New year, new me.
Yeah, I love that. I need that energy.
Right. That's right.
Yes, let's keep that energy. So as y'all know, we've been, doing this show, meeting and discovering and finding all these amazing representations of our people that are doing it big. And we're still in the entertainment industry. We've got a guy who, when I discovered him through my searches, he is amazing, and he's repping for the culture. He has this panel that he does every year that just, showcases us as Filipinos. Please welcome Mr. Edwin Santos. Let's bring him in. Air horns. Hey, how are you doing, Edwin? It's a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure's all mine. Thank you for inviting me for this interview.
Yes. Welcome. It's so amazing what you do. For those that don't know, we're going to break it down and let everybody know. So let me throw it to Miss Viva Valentina to kick us off with our first question. Let's go.
So we always like to ask, where are you from? But like, where are you really from? And like, where are your parents from?
Oh, I had to remember all this stuff. I am originally from Chicago, Illinois, born and raised. Uh, born and raised, I was there for 13 years. And then I went to the Philippines and spent 1 year there with my family. My dad's idea. If we loved it, we would stay forever. But my siblings and I didn't. We wanted to go back home to the US. And then we went to LA, which is a whole another country in itself. So that's the gist of that. My mother's from Batangas. Yeah, I think it's Batangas, Philippines, because we're always talking about our family lineage. Oh my God. And the rich history that we have, which I keep discovering every well, pre-COVID, every reunion or whatever. My dad's from, I might be wrong in this, so I always keep forgetting, but I think my dad's from Bulacan, but I'm not sure. I'm not quite sure. On the other coin of that, on the opposite coin of that, I don't know much about my father's history. It's like a big secret, or it's not even from me; it's from them. So I don't understand. So that's a whole nother whatever that I don't know exactly what the truths are or not.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. But do you know how they met? Do you know the story of how you came into the picture, like how they met and birthed you?
Well, I know both of them moved to the US separately, right? They don't even know each other. It's like they went on their own. They had their own journeys. My mom was a nurse by that time. Yeah. And my father was I don't know if he was an accountant by that time or he was getting to be an accountant by that time. Again, I don't know much of this.
2 squares on my bingo sheet.
Yeah. Very typical Filipino career paths, right?
Nursing and accounting. Boom.
And they met. I think the story was my dad and his friends walked by my mom and her friends at a bus stop, and then he just noticed her first, and he was pursuing her, and she kept saying no, that kind of thing. And I think and then somehow she gave in and magic happened. And then I was born. No, they were married first at Water Tower Place, I think. No, the reception was at Water Tower Place in downtown Chicago. And then maybe about 2 or 3 years later, I don't know how long. And then they gave birth to me.
So have they talked about like life with you as a baby, just how life was, growing up? What would they say about a young, from 1 to 10, a young Edwin Santos, and just how life was in Chicago?
My goodness. I don't think they, you know what? They don't even, yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I just know, again, from my experiences, what I remember, and then what I remember from what they've told me while we were all growing up. What they've discussed with me about how was Edwin like from 1 to 10, I don't know. I know I was not a troublemaker. I was a good Catholic boy. They know that. 10. I don't think I was a good Catholic boy at 10 after I did other things to prove to solidify that. But I was the oldest child, firstborn, and I'm supposed to take care of my siblings while growing up.
Okay. How many siblings did you have?
2. I have a middle child sister and a younger brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you recall what you were into and everything? Like, what, instead of what they would say, do you recall, what you were into and just growing up, memories of Chicago as a young kid?
I do remember, I think my dad gave me a radio. It wasn't even a transistor radio. It was one of those big box radios that you can actually hear TV sounds, like network TV audio.
Oh,
It was,
wow.
it was a cool thing. I still have it somewhere.
Whoa, wow.
Because
Even
I
more
was
amazing.
like, wow, because like, you know, like everyone has to sleep at 9 a.m. I mean 9 a.m., 9 p.m. So you couldn't watch any of the primetime shows or any of the late night movies and stuff like that. So under my covers on a Sunday night, for example, because Monday is school, I'm listening to the Dr. Demento show.
Oh, wow.
That kind of thing. And then I would listen to TV, audio, whatever, the mystery, like Sherlock Holmes and stuff like that.
That's
Like
so cool.
when you're listening, as you're growing up and you're listening to audio stories of Sherlock Holmes and Agatha Christie and, you know, Dr. Demento, whatever, you visualize what's going on. You create like a visual reel of what you're listening to. I would also get my hand puppets and pretend like when you're talking, you know, Kermit the Frog thing, like, hey, how are you doing? We must investigate the crime, something like that. And I think that's what developed my
creativity.
Creativity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's like creating your own TV with the script provided. Like that's the foundation right there.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was getting at, is to find those foundations which led you, you know, for later on, for the roots of creativity and becoming an actor. So you said it was 13 when you moved to the Philippines?
Yeah.
For about a year. Do you recall that experience, and how was that transition from States to Philippines? How did you feel about it? Were you mad at your parents at all? How was that for you?
Maybe after. Let's see, 13, because 13 is like you're from child to teen.
Yeah.
My goodness, that's a bad time. And then, so going to the Philippines, it was culture shock for me. My siblings and myself, we do not speak Tagalog at all. The parents didn't teach us Tagalog. I don't know why. I would assume maybe because they thought if you're only speaking English, you could elevate in the world better, which is wrong.
Exactly. I hate your mom for that.
And then it was a culture shock that way, but then also because we were Americans, a lot of the classmates, a lot of cousins were making us feel like celebrities, and somehow, you know, at 13, I didn't know that. I mean, we're young, so we don't know. For me, I didn't know what the word was, but it was later on I realized it was ethnocentrism. Maybe that's the word for it.
Yeah.
Pick up that sense, like, oh, you're validating that I'm better than all of you. Something like that. It's like a weird feeling, and I'm like, so after 6 months of that, it died down, and I realized I'm not sure about my sister or brother, but I realized, oh, I'm lonely. Like I have no friends. I don't have no true people to hang out with, because it was all in a fluff or image, because we came in and we were just like flowers everywhere, something like that. But just a weird feeling. And then
that's real.
You know, but while there, like I again, I have a wild imagination, so I just immerse myself with the culture of itself as best I can, and understand, because if I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna probably be here for the long haul. I might as well learn the culture and appreciate it, and why I'm here. I mean, what's my purpose here, really?
Oh, right. That's awesome.
People didn't know what it was. I was just going with the flow.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful that you kind of turned that. I would assume, like, probably the first time you really experienced racism, I would say, in a way. And it was kind of like our own people kind of inflecting that onto you with that ethnocentrism, whatever the word is that we're saying, but like in reverse, in a way, right?
Well, I didn't feel it there, but I think when I came when I returned to the US, especially LA, I got a lot of flack from my own people for the other things. It's kind of weird. It's like, it's so weird because I didn't speak the language at all. I'm so Americanized. I mean, you walk in, you see a lot of any artifacts that's hanging around, like the joke goes. But growing up here in LA, in high school and in college, I mean, I it's nothing new. I got racially not attacked, but verbally. And I used to escape from it because I used to throw jokes a lot. And and this is not from other races, like maybe white people and stuff like that. I don't see it, or maybe I'm not aware of it, or maybe I just blindly didn't see it, or just ignored it, or maybe something like that. But with Filipinos, like other Filipinos, especially Filipinos from the Philippines that see me, they racially not attack, but racially target me. which is the reverse. Because I saw your second episode and I heard your stories, but mine was reversed. They're from the Philippines. They think they're Americans, and they attack me because I'm not Filipino enough. I'm like, what? Wait, well, and this is from high school to college. Like what? And like, okay, and in college I was very sarcastic. They're like, oh, I'm from. Like, it's so stupid. It's so funny and it's so immature. They would say, this kid comes up. He's been here in only 3 years, and he says to me, I'm in this heavy Filipino accent in English, telling me that he was an American. He's proud of it, like that. He was trying to be better than I am. Like, and me, who's American, have no accent at all. I was just sarcastically, just not attacking back, but more like trying to one up him.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I got the better of it and got out of there before I got beaten up and stuff like that. So yeah, it's reversed for me. And I usually like, and I had jobs before where I would hang out with mainly Americans and Mexicans, because especially in America, I grew up. I don't know, but Mexican seems to be more American to me,
especially California.
Yeah.
And their culture was almost similar to mine, so I gelled well with them, and I would hang out with them, whether it's outside from work or at work, at parties. I hang out with them. I don't hang out with my own people, which is kind of strange. And when I do hang out with them, they speak Tagalog, which makes me feel like an outsider because I can't respond. And I don't know if they're talking about me. So I hang out with other people.
Yeah, that's real, though. That's real.
Found family, right?
Yes, that found family concept.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, I don't know. I think by maybe 5 years ago when I started meeting this new generation, crop of actors and Filipino American actors, I'm like, okay, they understand, because maybe I was born too early. Maybe I would have been born later, and then I would have gotten more Filipino friends that way, because they're born in America, or at least most of them I know, and then they were going through the same experiences I went through when I was a lot younger. So I don't know, it's kind of strange.
Well, it's all the same. And crazy thing, like I had a group meeting today with some other Filipino actors, and it really doesn't matter. It's always kind of there, and that's what we have to build as a people and have these conversations. Just because it's just so stupid, At the end of the day, it's just stupid. We should be supportive with each other. So as you said at 13, and you were there, and after they said what they said, you were learning more about the culture for yourself. Can you talk on that, and then going into teen years in high school and telling us about teen Edwin? Exploring your culture at that age?
Edwin.
And appreciate it? Did you didn't know the language, but like the food and then just the vibe, just how different our people are with each other, as other cultures are.
I am, sorry. First off, the food, of course. I mean, my family all the time. Gained a lot of weight because of it.
Eat, Edwin, eat. Are you hungry?
I know. Kindergarten little girls like tabat. Like, what are you talking about? What does that mean? But I mean, like, yeah, it was mainly the food first. That was my. I mean, it's not introduction. It was always there. But I never made that. I never equated to my culture. It was just food, right? But then I think by high school, I wasn't really searching for it. It just happened to happen. I can't speak. So there was a Filipino club in high school. It was one of the first times there was a Filipino club at that high school. And at that time, as a senior, I needed to join a lot of clubs so I can qualify for college or something like that. Yeah. So, and then I joined the Filipino club as a PR publicity person, and that lasted a year until I graduated. And then by college, it's a whole different thing. You know how it's like in college where there's more people, you're more open to exploration and other experiences and stuff like that. And there was a Asian Pacific Islander Union Club, which included everybody, including Filipinos and Hawaiians and stuff like that. And that was my second year of college, actually. And then I joined that one as vice president, I think. So we did tinikling dances. I did a tinikling dance at a club row on campus for the first time. I'd never done this dance before. I have no rhythm at all. uh, and that was shown
Don't trip on the sticks, right?
I trip on the sticks. Oh, terrible.
You ever get your feet caught? That hurts.
Yeah.
I was trying to follow tradition to the T, but my sister was part of that club, and she was the bamboo
Mhm.
thingy, and I thought in my head like, wait, girls are not supposed to do that. That's how stupid I am, or was at the time. So she was doing that, and I was dancing. What? And that was shown on public cable network, and I was like, oh, this is weird. I got to do better, or not. So it was a good experience to meet other people at the college level, knowing my culture and embracing it even more. And it just brought me back memories that I may have forgotten about when I lived in the Philippines, but it brought all that back. I felt that it was a cool round circle to me, and I thought that was it. I mean, it's not like I learned it and it's in me, but I'm not going to be like, you know what I mean? Because I know other people, they will capture the culture, embrace it, but they'll talk about it a lot and just decorate their whole home like the Philippines. Because I've met people like that, like, okay, you're going a little too much. Just for me, I just embrace it, and that's part of my soul and my spirit. But I'm not gonna go around going, because I've done that before, right? In the Philippines, I came back and I decorated my car with the Filipino flag and the sticker and the bumper. I'm like, okay, this is too much now. The rosary, whatever. But I mean, like, it was a nice experience I went through, and I was in college, and it goes ebbs and flows, or up and down. It's not like I'm always looking. It's just whenever my spirit or my soul is lost, and maybe I lost my culture along the way, then I'm always looking for it. And it also comes down to my career as an actor. When you're auditioning for roles and you get cast as any other Asian other than Filipino, or any other stereotype other than non-stereotype, you start losing for me, you start losing something. And I go out, without telling my agent, I would go out and find independent films and just like, hey, you're doing a Filipino movie, can I can audition for you guys and stuff like that. Or if I'm producing a movie and there's no Filipino character in it, I will like ask the other producers, like, we should audition a Filipino actor for this role, whatever role it is, supporting. I always push it to supporting or even lead, but that's a whole another story there. And if there are no actors that we couldn't audition in time, then I will insert myself. Like,
Yes.
I'll play the hotel manager with the dirty shirt or whatever like that. I mean, come on, and I'll put my father, whatever, and put in that kind of thing. So I try as in my career and as a person to elevate Filipino and the culture and our, not branding, but our representation as best I can.
Representation matters.
Yeah.
I love that. That's also on our bingo card. You're getting a lot of our square today. So that's actually a really good segue. How did you know that you wanted to get into this industry? Was this something that started really young? Was it something that kicked off in college? Like, at what point did you decide, like, this is going to be my passion?
I think it was after, like, when I was allowed to watch late night TV, Singing in the Rain, Wizard of Oz, Godzilla movies, whatever like that. I was thinking to myself as a kid that I wish I can go into the TV and live that world, right? Because everything was perfect. Everything was happy. Everything was like, anything possible can come true there. My life is just like, but that's what I wanted to do. But then a part of me later on, like when I was at Catholic school and I met Steve McQueen, the actor. He was filming one of his last movies near our school, and I saw him do his stunts and his acting and stuff like that. I'm like thinking, like, can this is a career? You could actually get paid for this? I was 12. You can actually get paid for this? I was studying to be a priest at the time because I was in Catholic school. Like, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. So I was like a deacon my deacon was my trainer or whatever the word is. But when I saw Steve McQueen acting and stuff like that and doing the stunts, I'm like, or his stuntmen doing the stunts, I'm just like, wow, I want to do that. But I knew it was unrealistic because really my parents won't allow it. My parents will be looking at it like, like I had this conversation a long time ago where your parents came to the US to start not just to start, not start a new life for them, but for their children. And they sacrifice so much to get here so that their children can have it easier to, live in the US and have great jobs and stuff like that. When I told my parents in college, and it was my second year pre-nursing, I was taking nursing classes. I was not enjoying it at all. I'm very bad at math. I almost didn't pass high school because I couldn't pass the topics test. Yeah, I told them that I'm going to be an actor. My mom was speechless. My dad was like, "What the hell, guys?" He didn't really care. Like,
That's such a Filipino dad.
He doesn't care. Like, okay, one down. My mom is like, she didn't believe it. Like, I knew she was trying to stop me from becoming that. Even to this day, she'll just slip in, she'll send me an email like, you can apply at the Kaiser Permanente Hospital as a log secretary. Maybe you start there, you can work your way up or something like that. I'm like, come on, I'm at this age. You really think anyway? So yeah, I told them that I'll be an actor, and I already had actor friends who would tell me about it. It's not easy, Ed. You have to prepare everything, and I did. I ended up getting day jobs that was in the industry. So when I would have day jobs in the industry, and even in those day jobs, I would push Filipino because I was like in a position as supervisor, and even the boss. Like, I shared an elevator with one of the CEOs, and she would ask me like, "Oh, you've been here for a long time." Yes, I have. Your people. She said, your people, Filipinos. I heard you're very hardworking people. I'm like, is this a folklore story I'm hearing?
Wow, that model minority myth.
Yeah. I did say like, yes, we are. I mean, I said, yes, we are. Sternly, we are.
I mean, what's the alternative? Like,
I know.
You've got to lean into it at that point.
But I noticed like within a year, they were hiring other Filipino employees, and they were under me and stuff like that. And I was kind of cool, I can hang out with people. But outside from that, yeah, I told my mom, and she wasn't really supportive, but she had to be supportive because this is what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I'll do everything I can and sacrifice as much as I can to establish myself as a working actor, not so much successful, although to them, Filipino parents, they, even after about a number of years I've been doing this, they feel I'm not successful because I'm not on regular TV. I'm not on regular movies, right?
That speaks to me so much. Yes, I'm with you. You can create, do your own films, but unless you're like in that A-list, B-list, like that's that known thing, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Oh God, you just spoke to my soul, Edwin.
It was. I think at one point, Fresh Off the Boat was showing on TV, and my mom and I walked in. I was visiting, and she said like, "How come you're not on the show?" I said, "Mom, it doesn't work like that. Like, you should get a better agent. Like, maybe you might be right about that, but like, you should talk to them, contact the show, talk to those producers, and get yourself on that show." Like, no, I'll burn a bridge. No, Mom. You know how this works? No.
I love it.
I used to do background work when I was in college. I don't talk about that a lot because I think it's just a job. It's not really acting. But when they see me so when you're a background and they see me on Party of Five or 90210, they're like, "Oh my God, you're a success! You're a success!" I'm background. Come on.
We're like furniture. We're like moving furniture. But I would say not to knock background too much. That's where you really learn a set. Learn how to control yourself on a set, and just how how everything moves and shakes. So I definitely think background's a good experience, but you don't want to stay there too long. Because you'll get kind of pigeonholed into that. But I want to bring it back a little bit. What made you just fall in love with acting? What was it? Was it? Can you pinpoint the film or a specific actor that? Yes, this is what I want to do.
Well, I think he said Steve McQueen.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So was seeing Steve McQueen was it? Was it just because you saw him, or was there like something else?
It was something else. I think I can't pinpoint the movie, but I saw Robert De Niro doing a scene, and I was just like, whoa,
Okay.
I'm drawn.
De
I'm
Niro.
drawn. I got affected by him. I'm just like, ugh. I got the nerves. Not the nerves. I just felt like, wow, this is really good. And I think by that time, I was at that age that I was kind of studying acting, and I saw one of his movies. I'm just like, oh, I have to be that. I mean, I don't have to be him. I just have to understand his process and make it and insert that into my own process.
So what would you say is the first lesson you learned? And what is a lesson you would impart to a young actor getting into the game?
Oh yeah. If you're expecting this to be successful overnight, get out of it. You have a
Learn rejection.
Attitude. Yeah, that's the wrong way of looking at it. It takes. I didn't believe it at first when other people would tell me like it takes 10 years or more to get to be successful. And also, if you're in this business to get successful, then no, then you're in the wrong business.
Yeah,
you have to love this career or craft or this or whatever for the ups, because you'll be going a lot of ups and downs, a lot of downs really, but a lot of ups also, and that's a blessing. And you celebrate that, and you celebrate the small successes along the way, whether it's a small role or not, or whatever, one line, celebrate that. All it does is just not make you crazy. It just makes you feel like that you succeeded in something, if that's the verbatim right there. You succeeded in something, whether it's a small co-star role or a one line in a major TV show. Just accept that and be happy for that, because you really feel good about that kind of thing. Don't beat yourself about it also, right?
Yeah.
If you don't get that audition, don't go in the car and go like, damn, why did I just do it, say this line and stuff like that. No, just let it go. Just let it go. I've been through all that stuff before, and I would listen to the action, like, just have to, just not to drive yourself nuts yourself. Just follow what we were saying, and then you'll be fine. And and I would say the same thing. But mainly, really, like, if you're going to go into this business and just to expect to be successful, like, overnight, like, just forget it.
Yeah.
Like, go find something else.
Milestones.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can be your own worst critic, and you got to not, you got to just live for the moment, just keep going. So you went to school in Illinois before you moved out to LA, right?
No. I mean, I went to elementary school in Illinois. Does that count?
Oh, no. So I was just transitioned from college to then pursuing the career in LA is where I was trying to get to. Where was that? College was where, and then pursuing the career in LA.
College was in LA.
Oh, okay, got it.
I tried to get inside UCLA, but I couldn't. I went to Northridge, Cal State.
Okay.
North. So, and then after that, I went out there in the world.
So were all your parents still back in Illinois while you were pursuing your goals in college in Cali?
No, we're all together.
Oh, so they moved with you?
No, well, they moved us there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
because they went to the Philippines and then they went to LA.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I'm sorry. I got it. I'm getting on track. Okay, that's great, because then they could support you and be there. I thought they were somewhere else. Okay, so that's beautiful. So you're there where it needs to happen. You're in the area. So graduating from college and then trying to get an agent. How can you talk on just the steps of trying to get into this industry? Finding an agent. How was that? And just some of those scenarios, or just some of those experiences of trying to make this happen. And going through that.
What were some of your early milestones?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I didn't really follow a certain path, because a lot of people would tell me to take theater first, and I didn't. I mean, I did theater in high school, but that doesn't really count. But I didn't, because I was focused on getting on film and TV. That was my focus. My acting was my acting classes. And auditions is like acting classes anyway. But I think I started looking for an agent first it took me 4 years because I didn't have any credits, right? I was new. So it took me about 4 years to get an agent. I did join a showcase where I performed certain scenes, and then there were different agencies or agent associates in the audience, and I had like 3 of them vying to represent me.
Showcases. So you did showcases then?
Showcases I did. At the time, I thought it was a great idea, but it's not really good. I mean, I'm just saying, I don't want to say it too much. I mean, there are some places that would have showcases that you will have to pay a lot of money to be part of, but that's not fair because a lot of actors can't afford it, and sometimes a lot of these places are scams.
Yes.
But I got lucky. It wasn't that. I mean, it was expensive at the time, but it wasn't a scam. There were 3 agencies that wanted to represent me, and I ended up with one of them, and I stayed, and I was with them for 14 years, which was good.
Awesome.
Nice. It was a nice thing. So I got lucky, but it took me 4 years to find an agent until I joined a showcase. Like, okay, spend this money. Sacrifice my hard-earned day job money, and I did that. But you had to, like, the whole point was to, I mean, you have to, like what I said earlier, you have to sacrifice a lot to get. Well, you have to sacrifice a lot, but not to the point you lose your soul or your humanity of it for it, that kind of thing. So I got my agent. She would send me out to a lot of television shows and stuff like that, movies. I did some of them small parts, but I think most of my work was in independent film. She got me into an independent film, and I loved it because it was much more freedom to perform in indie films than it is on television or even major movies, because I feel restricted. I don't know. I know that as an actor, when they give you a script, you have to read it word for word and stuff like that. But I'm more of a free spirit when it comes to performance, especially. And then later on when I took improv at UCB, I loved it because it was like so freeing to say anything you want and then support your scene partners, and it's just like this is awesome. I find doing independent films, whether big or small, awesome, very awesome. Yeah. And even when I got into producing indie films, it was a lot. Well, I could say it's a lot easier, but there's a lot of, as a producer, there's a lot of things you have to watch for and make sure nothing goes wrong and stuff like that. As an actor, it's okay. You're looking at the script. You're allowed to improvise. You're allowed to be yourself if you have to, or not be yourself, but that kind of thing. And I'm still doing it, and I loved it. I'm happy for support indie films.
Oh, hell yeah.
I love doing them.
So let's talk about that actor evolution. So from being an actor to then like making films. Well, how would you compare contrast in regards to that and taking all those experiences to do that? Can you talk on that? Like, do you love one more than the other?
I love both, but I love both. And I tend to go back and forth. So for me to produce a project, it has to be something that grabs my attention. It has to grab my attention or I won't do it. If the story is not that great, I won't do it. Even if you're my best friend. No, I'm not. I'm sorry. And then I tend to do this also. Like, I would spend like a number of years producing a film or 2 films and stuff like that. Then once I feel like there's no other project coming up that grabs my attention, or I feel burned out from producing, because that happens, I would go back to acting, and it's a whole new fresh experience going there or going back. And then when I feel there's nothing coming up in terms of acting, no good roles, nothing to immerse myself in, then I will go back. I'll return to producing and find a script and that kind of thing. So it gives me a nice balance, creatively speaking.
Yeah.
And I can do both at the same time. I've done both of them at the same time. Like, I would produce a movie and act in it, but I realize as an actor in your own movie, you're thinking not as an actor, but you're thinking as a producer still.
Yeah.
And that throws you off your acting. Like, oh my God, I can't. No.
Yeah.
I can't do that. So I realized when I did one film like that, and I realized my acting was sabotaged, it got smaller. Like I think the director just cut my lines off a little bit, and like became a much smaller role in my as that character. And then my head was on producing. So I saw that happen. I'm like, I'm not gonna do that again. Just it's one or the other.
Definitely. Awesome. I love it. I love that. That's real talk. So let's talk about so you were saying when you finally got your feet wet and you knew and grounded and you knew what you were doing, trying to get representation out there, and then leading into what made you decide to start like this amazing Filipino panel that you do annually, I believe, right? How did that come into being? From acting, filmmaking, producing to then, hey, let's get our people together and let's talk shop and support each other.
I think a decade before all that, a mentor once asked me, Edwin, you should teach acting. I said, why? Why am I going to teach acting? I haven't, at that time, I'm thinking I should be successful and then teach acting, because I would imagine these kids, my students, will like look me in IMDb and see what a successful thing I have done. And then would they pay their own hard-earned money for me to teach them acting, which I didn't, So I said, no, I'm not going to teach acting. But since I had my experience producing film, why not produce a panel to help Filipino American actors? Like that bounced around my head. Like in '98, I was like, "But how do I do that?" Like at that time, I was new. I didn't know many Filipino American actors, and if there were not many. A lot of us out there at the time. I mean, only Dante Pasco, but I didn't know the guy. I also needed a Filipino American organization, like a nonprofit organization, to help me out, because even at that time there were not that many. There were Asian American nonprofit organizations, but I wanted specifically Filipino American because they would know, how to put this all together. So I waited. I mean, I didn't wait. I was just like, well, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. 5 years ago, one of my friends became he started this organization called Philam Creative. They started 11 years ago, but I joined 6 years ago as a member, and I saw what they're doing. I was just analyzing it. I was one of those passive members where I would join, but I'm not doing so much for the organization.
Yeah.
So I would just go to their events, see their music lineup, their writers lineup, and whatever like that, and I'm like, okay, this is not really for me. But then 4 years later, he came up and he offered me. He didn't offer. He said, like, you should be part of our executive leaders to help us grow the organization. I'm like, what can I do? I don't know what to. Like, Edwin, you have a lot of experience. Is there something you want to do? And then I thought about the actors panel. Like, I want to put together an actors panel, a Filipino American actors panel, every year. I don't want to do it every month. That's crazy. I don't think there's a lot of us to do it every month. I can't do it. So like, let's test it around every year, and then like, okay, it's balls in your court, Edwin. Just put it together, and I produced the entire thing together. The first one, I made sure that the first one was more like going to be like two film actors, and the other two people are either agents, casting directors, or managers, right? I say 2 Filipino American actors per year because, again, I don't know if there's a lot of us out there to stretch it as long as I have done so far. The Eugene Guerrero, who I got him first because he was my improv teacher at UCB. And even at UCB, I was like, there's a Filipino American actor here. Like, I didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
I was like, oh. And this is before he was in Kong Skull Island and Tacoma FD and stuff like that. So he was just a teacher there. And then through another friend, I met Tess Paras. and she wanted to be in part of the panel. So, and I knew I knew one casting director, and the other guy was, who's the other person? Oh, it was an agent that I auditioned before. Did I? I don't remember. But I got those 4 people together, and that became the first actors panel in 2015.
Wow.
And in 2015, it felt, I don't know what, as I went along from 2015 to 2017, there was what we were doing, not just the organization, but the actors panel itself, is that when you look at, I would look back at TV to find out what would be my next guests for next year.
Yeah.
But there were shows on the air, like Crazy Ex-Girlfriend was on the air at the time, Superstore was on the air, Good Place, like these shows were up and running, and then movies, like there's certain Filipino American actors in these movies at the same time. Like, what is going on? I mean, it happened. The actor panel happened. The organization happened, and these things are happening around us that we were not in control of, but it was still happening. It was serendipitous. I think that's the word, right? It was happening at the same time. Like, oh, this is good.
All came together.
The community coming together.
Yeah, the universe got behind your panel and was like, I'll show you Filipino actors.
Yeah, like it came when it was ready, or when you were ready.
Yeah, I would say it's amazing, and other things that were happening that outside of us. UCB, there was a group of Filipino American improvisers at Upright Citizen Brigade, UCB, called Filipino AF, and they were starting their own thing. And then I would get my guest panels from them because I had no way of getting in touch with them. Like Ginger Gonzaga, like I wanted to get her, but I didn't know anybody within my circle how to get her. And to me, she's like out of reach to me. Because she is, but she performed at UCB. I'm like, oh, let me, I'll watch, and then I'll try to talk to her. And just because I already had the actors panel, so because I know how this works. When I did producing and when I did marketing before, they always wanted to ask, like, it's weird. They want to see what else you've done for them to join or to participate with you for whatever project. What else have you done? You have to have something to back it up.
Yeah.
And also they would also, and this is a new thing I learned like 5 years ago, they also want to see your numbers, not just in marketing or in producing, but also in algorithms and social media sites. I'm like, oh my God, like how many views your whatever, like this, like what you're doing, your podcast and your vlog, like the number of views matters, the number of whatever matters. And it'll be easier for you guys to get more guests and stuff like that. So it's just like I had to learn that along the way. I'm like, oh my God, a lot of stuff. But it was great because as this is by June this year will be my 8th year. I don't think it'll be that difficult to get. I have in mind a list of Filipino American actors I wanted to get, but I think this year will be a little bit different because of the pandemic last year. A lot of actors, including myself, started doing voiceover work because we couldn't do physical work.
Yep.
Because it slowed down. So this year, the actors panel will be focusing on voiceover actors.
That's cool.
I don't know many of them, but I'm meeting a lot of them on Twitter. So, and since it's virtually, it'll be easier. Easier for them to say yes, right? So yeah. So that's what I'm working on for this year.
Beautiful. That's awesome. I could totally recommend a bunch of names for you too as well. Just how has the community come together, and just what are some of the lessons you would impart from what you've learned doing this into those actors that are looking for to get in, and also just that sense of community as Filipinos supporting each other within this?
Let's see. Okay, so specifically Filipino, we do have to support each other, and all our works, the works that we've done or are doing right now, whether they're bad or good. I mean, that's the other thing. It's like it's human nature, right? You want to support good work. But how about if we're into martial arts and fight action movies? Is that not good? I'm like, can you support that too? Like I would, but a lot of us won't. But that's their thing. That's what it is. Generally, we should be supporting all our works and every stuff that we are doing, whether you're performing or filming or directing or writing, whatever. Because it goes a long way. As long as we do that, I think more people will be, or at least the next generation coming up, they'll see this happening and they'll also join in, and they'll probably go further than us. Maybe they'll become agents. Maybe they'll become, what do you call those? Not story editors, like people that can greenlight projects.
Yeah. Showrunners.
Showrunners, casting directors. If you have a Filipino American casting director, they usually will just cast somebody from the film. Like they would, like naturally, you might just do that. If they can get to those executive levels, I think maybe there's a chance. Hopefully, there's a chance that we'll see more of us and more of our works out there in the mainstream. Because so far, Diana Paragas and Isabel Sandoval, they both have films out there that is legitimately should be getting, Academy, the high-end awards out there. But we still have a long way to go. I also feel that because, and this is my pet peeve, since Asian Americans generally support each other, right? I tend to see this happening online and even in person, in personal sense, that when a non-Filipino Asian project comes out, everybody is behind it. But when a specifically Filipino project comes out, I don't see that same support, right?
Yeah, we need more of that. Like with Yellow Rose, like right now there's two amazing films. Minari came out this past year, brilliant with Stephen Yoon, and then there's Yellow Rose. But I'll be honest, I'm saying more people support Minari, which is a great film, fascinating film. Love the Minari, but I didn't see that same love for Yellow Rose by the rest of the Asian community as there was for Minari. So yeah, and then Lingua Franca with Isabel Sandoval, amazing on Netflix, and it's getting it's roses here and there, but still, yeah, I Edwin, I agree with you completely on that. But yeah, we have to support each other. It needs to be said.
Yes.
Definitely. Yes. So what else does Edwin want to do? What are, along with the panel, it's going to be virtual it's going to be spotlighting voice acting this year. What more do you want to see happen with that? And what more do you want to do yourself as an actor, producer?
I don't know. I'm running out of ideas.
No.
I mean, because the actors panel itself, it fills in, not the void, but it fills in that my connection to my culture. Okay. I feel it actually connects both my culture and me being an actor, right? Yeah. That's good. Producing I've done already, but that depends if there's a good script. I'm currently focused on just acting in itself now because I just have to.
It's those transitions. Sometimes, you get tired of one thing. I'm getting back into acting now. I love hosting, but I want to get acting again.
I opened a new Instagram account that shows my photography, if anything. So, and I did a photography. I think before the pandemic, I did a photography exhibition at a little store.
Okay.
Just showing 5 of my photographs. I'm not a professional photographer. I just felt like, these are scenes my eyes loved when I took the picture, and then
that's awesome.
So yeah,
I like that description.
Yeah, these are scenes my eyes liked.
Yeah, you're an artist if you create scenes that your eyes like. I like that. That's my new definition.
Writing it down.
I mean, that for me, in a sense, that's something I did when I was a kid. And again, it's like going back when you're listening to radio and you visualize what you're saying. That's what I see before the camera takes the shot. And it's always something I wanted. It's like a secret passion.
Okay.
Awesome.
So it's out there. It's in my Instagram. I'll share that with you at some point. And then,
absolutely.
And then, that keeps me at least fresh, or at least, keeping my mind curious as I go on creatively looking for other things to do.
Yeah.
Does it make any sense? I don't know.
No, yeah, absolutely. I feel that, where it's like I picked up embroidery, like hand embroidery, because I was like, well, I don't feel like sewing something, but I want to make something. So I'm going to try this, and it's going to spark the rest of that creativity and get the creative juices flowing. And then it's just a cool hobby on the side. I think it's awesome.
Is there is there an ultimate role you would like to play, or a character you'd like, or part of a fandom you want to be in?
Well, I mean, the role, like, it's weird. It's like, I remember, I mean, I would hear the saying, I heard this not cliche, this saying a lot that maybe you're not looking for the role that, the role you're looking for may not be out there, but there's a role out there for you that's made for you. And I never believed that. I never really believed that. I figured like it's gonna, I don't know, I just do my thing. But there was a group of people that wrote a short film called Lolo Pepe, and there was a role of a character based on one of his uncles who was a mob boss in the Philippines. I'm like,
oh, with Abe Pactama? With Abe?
Yeah, the one with Abe Pactama. Yeah.
Yeah, we actually had him on the show. Shout out to Abe.
I was like, this sounds familiar.
Yeah.
There was a role. I'm in that short, and it's the director said like, "Oh my God, you look like my uncle." I'm like, because at that time I had long hair, not as long as this, but I had long hair, and I'm like, "You look like him. You should play my uncle who's bad. Who's meant to be good, but he's doing bad things just to survive." I'm like, "Oh, I know that feeling so well." I relate to that. I mean, I don't do bad things to survive. I'm just like, I understand why people would do bad things in order to survive. I understand that. So, and that's a character I've never played before, but he's a gang member. Oh shoot, I have to learn how to smoke. No, on straight edge. No way. No, you have to learn Tagalog. Oh no. I can Tagalog in the Philippines. No, I don't want to do it again. But I mean he gave me the character, and I read the character, and I mean we improvised some certain scenes on the set, and I played the character on the short film. Now the short film is being made into a episodic streaming or TV series, and I'm on board as a producer, but I'm also reprising the character that I played in the short. And it's called Concepcion, and it's about a Filipino American mob family who moves to Los Angeles, and it takes place in two different timelines: in 1992 before the LA riots, and then in present day time after the, oh no, I forgot his name. It's not good. George Floyd situation, right?
Yeah.
So it takes place between those two timelines, and I'm playing the character from 1992, and then some flashbacks, and Reggie Lee, he's on board as one of our producers as well. Reggie Lee, the actor from Grimm. And then we also have other people we're talking to, and I can't say, and I really want to say it right now, but I can't say it.
No way.
So you gotta save the reveal.
Yeah.
And we'll have you
Don't
back.
break any NDAs.
When you can really speak on it, we'd love to have you back to talk on it and just showcase it, because I think I know quite a few of the people that are going to be involved. So
I think
yes,
you do, man.
We will definitely have you back so we can, like, when you can, discuss it.
Yeah.
Let's get the whole team. We'll have the whole team on. We'll do big, talk to the cast.
Cool.
Yeah,
that'll be great. Yeah. I'm up to that. The other question you asked, a role in fandom. I've never had that question before. That's a very good question.
There we go.
It kind of rolls into our final wrap-up question, because we are the nerds of color. So we always like to ask what someone is very nerdy about. Like, what is something that is just that is an interest of yours that you just are very passionate about? You could give a whole lecture on it if you were so inclined. And that might tie in with a role, or just be an interest.
Think about both of those.
Oh yeah, I am thinking about both, because there's two things that pop in my head. I'm not sure which one is going to work. I am taking some note on Patrick's wall. For
inspiration. It's the Pinterest wall, right? Mood board.
Yeah.
for a role in a fandom that I love the X-Files. I'm not sure if I'm a TED Talk kind of person for X-Files. I mean, if I remember correctly, but if I mean, even during the initial run, I wish like they were doing episodes like earlier in the season. They were doing episodes about different cultures and their different mythologies and folklores.
Yeah.
Whether it's the Chupacabra episode in when they went to Mexico or and stuff like that. And then at that time, in around the 90s, I I wish they wrote something about the Philippines and the Aswang. Please, somebody write that.
Yeah.
So I wrote. I still have it. The manuscript. I wrote a synopsis and stuff like that about how Mulder and Scully discover about the Aswang when they found out that there was another abortion clinic bombing about the fetuses and stuff like that, because there was protesters against abortion, and then they kind of relate. I was trying to connect that to the Aswang folklore, because Aswangs, you know, they feed on fetuses,
Yeah,
stuff like that. So I was trying to connect the two, and I wrote the manuscript, and I don't know if I submitted to Fox or not, but I was like, I didn't have an agent at the time, so I'm like, I was so worried someone would steal the idea.
yeah.
So I never submitted anywhere, but I was like something like, oh, maybe I'll do a short at the time. But this is something that I wanted to do, and I saw no one wrote anything of, I mean, at least from my viewpoint or my extent of the view of what I have not seen. Grimm did the show Grimm did an episode about Oscar, so that's one thing. But I wanted to equate, you know, the government political scenario of Mulder and Scully with abortion clinics to Aswang, and I thought that was a perfect way to connect the two.
Hell yeah!
And I want to do it on that one. So,
You that is bring that back.
That's such a good like nerd like specific interest. Like you were so interested in this awesome like mythology of the Philippines and also this show. You wrote a whole script treatment. That is next level.
Thank you.
So now we can just slightly modify it. You know what I'm saying? If you're down, unless you can get the X-Files license, which we know how difficult that is.
Find replace all the names.
You know what I'm saying? Make that happen. Because I'm interested. Let's make that happen. That's dope. I love it.
I think that might. I mean, one of your people that you interviewed, Sheila Tejeda, she's an X-Files fan as well. So she talked about. I didn't tell her about this part, what I had, but she mentioned something about she wanted to be Scully. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll keep that in mind. But as soon as I make a short of this, so we'll see if I get to that point. The other fandom you mentioned about, well, that's X-Files I want to be in. I do have another fandom that is current. Every time I bring this up, I lose friends.
Ooh.
I'm curious now. What is it?
Let's hear it.
I lose friends and I anger people. Like I've had this happen before. Like my uncle was really, really angry at me in our vacation in Vegas. I'm like, what? Where's this anger coming from? Anyway. I love wrestling.
Yes!
Yeah! Wrestling is dope.
Awesome.
Yeah.
WWE, AEW, both.
The muscles.
It used to be WF and WE, but like it has gone really mediocre a little bit. So I'm more AEW these days.
Okay.
Especially what happened last night. So it's just like now they have AEW, Impact, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and NWA all in that one episode.
Brilliant.
So
yeah,
it's brilliant. And then like you can see right now I'm about to talk more about it, but I don't want to.
Oh my god.
So it was WE and WF. I'll try to make this really short. WWF, and then around the 90s, a lot of my favorite wrestlers were leaving, and I didn't know. To me, they only existed in my viewpoint. I didn't know there were others like WCW, ECW, and something like that. And I stopped watching wrestling because college and girlfriend and work and social life. I'm just like I can't watch TV anymore. When I was able to be freer, I think a friend of mine mentioned to me like, "Oh, Edwin, you gotta watch this television show. It's really good." I said, "What is it? Another Law and Order show? What is it?" She said, "No, it's half reality show and half soap opera. what's a half reality show, half soap opera? No, I don't want to. No, I told her no. It's like, what, wrestling? Like, no, I don't want to watch wrestling. But why not? Because I know that if I start watching wrestling again, you'll never ever tear me apart from it. It was time to get out of it.
It's your lost love. I love that.
So she said, like, at least watch one episode of SmackDown. You got to see this guy. His name is The Rock. The Rock. Who the hell is The Rock?
The Rock.
Like, yeah. So I watched SmackDown. I'm like, okay, who's these? Oh, a lot of new people here. Who are these new people? Oh, look, Mr. Perfect. Yay, he's still here. Oh, Undertaker. Oh, he changed. He's human now.
He's still wrestling.
And then I saw The Rock, and I'm like, oh, he's really good. I want to watch again. Oh. Who ran over Stone Cold Steve Austin? I want to know. Yeah, those things kept me in touch. So I stayed with it all the time. There were times where I wanted to leave, like it was getting really boring. But then other things would keep me, like when CM Punk became the biggest deal of all, and I stayed with that. And I'm like, okay. But then later on, I was getting bored with WWE, and I was like, whatever. And that was what I was reading. I was reading the local newspaper in LA, and they had this article about a female wrestler. On the cover, it was blood all over her face. Like, what's this? And it was, there's a local promotion here in LA called Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, PWG. And they had wrestlers. At the time I never heard of them before, but now they're big deals now. It was the Young Bucks versus Candice LeRae and Joey Ryan. And they one of the Young Bucks had heels, like sharp things on their shoes, and they kicked her in the face, and she had this like, oh, this is PWG. Where is this? Oh, it's near my house. It's near my home. It's like 3 blocks away. I'm like, okay, I'll go. So I went to. They had the annual Battle of Los Angeles. They have every year, like three nights of wrestling. No way. So I went to August, and I saw my first independent wrestling match. I saw there, and I was hooked. I was hooked to indie wrestling than I was with WWE, which led me down to like watching Lucha Underground. I went to 3 tapings of Lucha Underground. My last time there watching Lucha Underground I was there in person. You'll see me in the audience. I was there watching live Pentagon Jr. versus Kairi Sane, Io Shirai, and Mayu Iwatsu from Stardom. Yeah, like I know all the stuff already. And then Lucha Underground. Other wrestling shows around town I watched. And then bar wrestling was the biggest thing. I met a lot of wrestlers there. Some of them became my friends. Chris Wolf became a friend. She's still retired now. And Shotzi Blackheart I met so many times. Taya Valkyrie.
Oh, I'm trying to get Shotzi on the show. I love Shotzi to death. She's so amazing. I love Shotzi.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Tony Storm I've met, and a lot of the male wrestlers and a lot of indie wrestlers, stuff like that. Yeah. And because I love indie wrestling, and I also started watching New Japan and stuff like that. Because of all that together, I became a fan of the indie wrestling scene, right? Mm-hmm. Not so much a big giant WWE. I was losing interest so fast. Yeah. So when AEW came around and implemented themselves as a contender, when I watched the first AEW show, I'm like, wow, this feels like indie wrestling in New Japan. I don't know why. It's not glaring red. It's not glaring blue. It's black all the way through. It's like true indies. I'm like, and after 2 years, I'm just like sold on it. So I'm just.
It was needed. They needed a competitor to WWE. To me, the best thing about WWE is the women's division. The males are terrible.
I love the women's wrestling.
Yeah, but shout out to AEW. We actually.
Wrestling.
The Nerds of Color, we have a relationship. I've had Nyla Rose on, interviewed her, and I've got actually more on the way. So stay tuned to the Nerds of Color. Love AEW.
I'll be
So we can definitely.
We're recording this podcast, and like my husband is out recording his wrestling podcast right now. So.
Oh, what's his wrestling podcast?
His wrestling podcast is The Hardest Part of the Ring, and it's him and a couple other guys, and they talk about weekly wrestling and all that. But
shout out to Keith and Brotastic Nerd.
Hardest Part of the Ring.
Mad love to him. But yeah. So we're all about wrestling over here, especially AEW. So that's amazing. So I have to note that. So definitely in the coming up soon, we can nerd out on some wrestling stuff, Edwin. So that's cool.
I think the only wrestling thing I came connected to was like the director of Lolo Pepe and myself. We were hired by a local TV station to do a wrestling documentary. So I produced the sizzle reel that's out there also on YouTube.
Oh, sweet.
And we shot at Empire Wrestling Federation, Jesse Hernandez's promotion, and we were supposed to get Joey Ryan and all these other people to be part of the documentary, but it didn't turn out. So that's fine. The sizzle reel is out there, and I'm kind of proud of that for at least the sizzle reel and the indie wrestlers that's on there. But that's my at least my connection to wrestling at this point. We'll see.
Love it. Awesome.
I love that. That was an awesome nerd check.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that was really good.
And I'm looking at your background, like we got King Kong and we got Jesus.
I know, right?
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Right
I don't know.
Oh, what?
I was like, we got Jesus. I was like, or is it Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Right above.
It's Jesus. Or Daniel Bryan. I don't know. It's Jesus. Yes.
or Daniel Bryan. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. R2D2.
We get the little R2. Yeah.
That's the
I'm like
R2
peeping these things.
Yeah.
So before we go, can you tell our audience, we'll have the information in the description as well, how they can reach out to you and and learn more about the panel that you do and yourself as well. If you could let them know.
Okay, so you can find the Filipino Hollywood Actors Panel at Twitter. Okay, at Twitter at Actors Panel, on Instagram at Filipino Hollywood. I don't know why I named it differently. I have no idea. And then on Facebook, Filipino Hollywood Actors Panel, and on YouTube as well, under my channel.
Awesome.
You'll find me on YouTube at Chi Cub USA, Chicago Cub USA. At that time, no one wanted to put names.
Cubs fan.
You can find me on Twitter at Edwin _A_ Santos, on Twitter Edwin.A.Santos, and on Facebook just put my name, Edwin A. Santos, somewhere. And on YouTube, yeah. I think that's it, right? I don't remember.
Sounds like the big ones.
I will send you my Instagram link of my photography because I don't remember.
Yes, I want to check it out.
Talk Journey.
Sure.
Talk Journey Films. That's the Instagram account. So yeah.
Awesome.
It has photography and some cinema stuff. Something I don't know. I'm working on that part. It's just many.
All right, but as soon as this drops, when we have this all edited up, it'll all be in the description. So make sure you go click on that after you get done checking out this video. So there we go, Edwin Santos, man. Thank you for what you've done with the panel. I know as an actor myself, I'm like, what? We have this? This exists for us? So I'm dying to come participate and be there and soak up that energy and that vibe because it's important. And you know, with everything you do, I know there's ebbs and flows. You kind of follow just where the path takes you. Sometimes you just don't want to decide and just go with the flow. And I love that. I feel that in my soul and that vibe. So wherever journey you take, as fans of you now, we'll be there to follow. So thank you for what you're doing. That was Edwin Santos, y'all. Appreciate you for coming on.
Thank you.
Boom. There you go. Edwin A. Santos of the Filipino Hollywood Actors Panel. Amazing. I love it. You know, as a actor getting back into it, I just love that there's this tribe that I can come together with other actors and get together with them and learn and build. Love it. And just his story, another great one. Learning more of, that transition back and forth to the Philippines and all that. What do you ladies think of that?
I thought it was really cool. I like that, like, it's another one of those stories where, again, he's Filipino, he's full Filipino, but it's like kind of having that American experience and then going to the Philippines and having that culture shock and then coming back and then getting into acting. And then I loved what he said about how he's like, every time he lost a bit of himself or he lost that culture, he went out and he found it. And he was like, I would go and then do indie films, and I would go and I would, hey, we should get a Filipino for this. And then how he came, and then how that bloomed into the Hollywood Filipino Actors Panel. So yeah, like, you're doing it another example of representation matters and doing it for the culture. Love it.
So important.
Mm-hmm.
Kat, how about you?
I thought it was great. It's awesome. We've had a chance to talk to a couple of people in the entertainment industry on the show so far, and it's neat how everybody has such a unique experience. So even though he's been in the game for a lot longer than some of our younger guests have, there are still some of those similarities in perspective. And it's a neat kind of contrast in that some of the actors that we've spoken to, including yourself, like you felt sometimes pressured to take roles that didn't feel ethnically ethical, I guess, or ethnically appropriate, right? And that his way of kind of acknowledging or fighting back against that, or at least trying to counteract some of it, was by constantly using whatever position he had to support Filipino excellence, which I thought was like a really great thing.
Yes. Make your own lane. If they ain't going to give it to you, make your own lane. I love that. So another great one, ladies. I thank you so much again for going on this journey as we learn about ourselves and we learn about our people. So if y'all have any suggestions and you want us to reach out to those people, let us know. And so let them know how they can reach out to us to do that. Let's go. Who wants to go first?
Oh, me? All right. So I'm Kataphorric. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok. We also have a ShoPowSho TikTok if you want a little bit more fun behind the scenes footage. And if you'd like to get even more info on us and support this great podcast, you can buy us a coffee or follow us on Patreon.
Ooh. I'm Viva Valentina. You can find me at viva.valentina on Instagram and TikTok, and Viva Valentina XO on Twitter and chef.com.
I love it. Shout out to the amazing Ates. And man, check them out. I love it. Yo, we've got so much stuff coming your way. Make sure you follow them and our Twitters, our Instagrams, on that Patreon. I just uploaded recently, but by the time this is coming out, you'll probably see even more. We have advanced episodes. We have bonus content. Yeah. So shout out to the ladies, man, for putting that all together. We've got so much stuff coming your way. Follow me at Strange since 1977 because I've been strange that long. And you can follow me at Simple Far East, at the NRW, and at Nerulus Wednesday, where nerds rule the world. And our home site, which is the Nerds of Color, where we spotlight our representation within pop culture. And of course, the ShoPowSho. Another great one, ladies. I love y'all. Mahakita salamat. We out of here, y'all. Deuces.
Mahakita din.
Mahakita din.
Hey, boom, boom.
Hi, my name is Edwin Santos, and I'm an actor, producer, and creator of the Filipino Hollywood Actors Panel. You can see me on the next episode of ShoPowSho right here on anywhere. Hi, I'm Edwin Santos, and my Filipino heritage is important because it's my family, it's my identity, and it's my soul.